How Cedric the Entertainer really lives behind the spotlight. From hosting the Emmys to starring in The Neighborhood, Cedric's career has earned him far more than applause. It's earned him millions. In fact, this Friday star is said to have one of the biggest bank accounts on his block, with a net worth that continues to climb in 2025 thanks to acting, stand-up, and even his famous designer hats. Yet it's not just about the money. Cedric shares his success with Lorna Wells, his wife of nearly 25 years, and their 2 children. Together, they enjoy a lifestyle that blends family values with serious luxury, including a gorgeous $3 million mansion in California. And with celebrity friends like Samuel L. Jackson and Magic Johnson, Cedric's world is just as glamorous as you'd imagine. So get ready, hit that like button, and subscribe if you haven't yet, because you're about to discover a side of Cedric the Entertainer you've never seen before. Let's dive in. How much Cedric the Entertainer is really worth. It's fair to say Cedric the Entertainer chose the perfect name for himself, because this multi-talented star really can entertain a crowd from every angle. Whether lighting up the big screen, making audiences laugh on the small screen, or commanding a comedy stage, Cedric has kept people smiling for over 3 decades, all while wearing a grin of his own. That grin might come from true inner joy, but let's be honest. The millions in his bank account probably help too. According to Celebrity Net Worth, Cedric has built up an impressive $25 million fortune, more than most people could ever dream of in 3 lifetimes. But long before the paychecks got big, Cedric was just Cedric Antonio Kiles, born in Jefferson City, Missouri, on April 24, 1964. After middle school, his family relocated, and he graduated from Berkeley High School in Berkeley, Missouri. My mother was a school teacher, single-parent household. She raised my younger sister and myself, Cedric shared in a 2021 interview with CBS this morning. We were a very aspirational household. He went on to study mass communication at Southeast Missouri State University, though it's safe to say his massive success didn't exactly come from a traditional 9-to-5 career. So how did Cedric go from a modest upbringing to becoming a household name and a millionaire? We dug deep to find out. Cedric the Entertainer cashed in on comedy, paying your dues in tiny clubs, working for next to nothing, and facing rowdy, sometimes downright mean crowds. That's the life of a stand-up comic trying to break through. It's a grind suited only for the truly dedicated. And it's hard to argue that comedy wasn't the perfect path for Cedric the Entertainer, whose easygoing humor and big personality made him a natural fit. Cedric's very first payday for making people laugh was a modest $500 he won in a stand-up competition. By 1992, he was showcasing his comedy chops on the syndicated show Showtime at the Apollo, according to the history makers. While no one knows exactly what he made for that first TV spot, it's safe to say it probably wasn't a fortune, given he was still an unknown at the time. But things moved quickly. From 1993 to 1994, Cedric landed a steady gig hosting BET's Comic View, and the following year, he took over hosting duties on Def Comedy Jam, proving he could turn his jokes into a regular paycheck. He didn't stop there. Cedric continued performing stand-up, eventually joining the legendary Original Kings of Comedy tour in the late 90s, which became a cultural phenomenon. He then headlined his own specials, including Cedric the Entertainer, Taking You Higher in 2006, and Live from the Ville in 2016. He struck acting gold. Out of all the comedians in the world, only a handful managed to break into acting, and even fewer achieve the kind of fame Cedric the Entertainer has. Just 4 years after his first television appearance, Cedric landed a co-starring role on The Steve Harvey Show in 1996, playing Cedric Jackie Robinson. From there, acting opportunities came rolling in, eventually leading to a dream come true for any comedian, headlining his own series. Cedric starred in The Soul Man from 2012 to 2016 and took on the lead role in CBS's The Neighborhood starting in 2018. Speaking to Watch, He admitted feeling pressure to make the CBS show a hit, explaining, "If you hit it out of the box, there's an opportunity to have a long run." With 4 seasons under its belt by 2021, that gig has brought him a reliable paycheck. In 2017, Deadline revealed that Cedric even signed a major development deal with CBS to create multiple projects, giving his bank account an extra boost. On the big screen, Cedric made his film debut in 1998's Ride, and the movie roles haven't stopped since. Some of his most notable include Barbershop, 2002, Cadillac Records, 2008, and Haunted House, 2013. He's also been the voice behind beloved characters in animated blockbusters like Ice Age, Charlotte's Web, and the Madagascar franchise. While the exact numbers behind his film and TV paychecks aren't public, there's no question Cedric hasn't had to depend on stand-up alone for a very long time. Cedric the Entertainer received Bud Light money. For all the movies and TV shows Cedric the Entertainer has done, plenty of people still remember him best from those hilarious Bud Light commercials that aired in the early 2000s. In one memorable ad, Cedric tries to impress a woman in his bachelor pad, only to blow it by accidentally spraying beer all over her face. Another spot showed him taking a date on a romantic picnic, only to end up dancing wildly, thanks to a swarm of ants, in a style that blended James Brown with John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever. It's safe to say Cedric earned a solid paycheck from Anheuser-Busch for those ads, especially since he was a regular spokesperson for the brand. The commercials also boosted his fame to a whole new level. "The Bud Light commercials made me more famous than any TV show or movie," he told Variety in 2021. That same year, Bud Light brought him back for another Super Bowl commercial alongside Post Malone and other Bud Light icons. "We had such a great, successful run doing commercials all those years," Cedric told Forbes about reuniting with the company. "It was like getting back in the family." And what a family. One that helped make him even richer and more recognizable than ever. The comedian jumped behind the scenes. If you've ever caught an episode of CNBC's The Profit, you know how its host, Marcus Lemonis, shows business owners how to squeeze extra profit out of what they already have, like adding fresh fruit to a smoothie shop's menu or selling frosting by the can. It's all about spotting new revenue streams. Cedric the Entertainer took a similar approach in his own career, branching out from acting to work behind the scenes as a producer. Cedric has stacked up 19 producing credits, including films like Johnson Family Vacation, 2004, The Honeymooners, 2005, and Code Name The Cleaner, 2007. He's also an executive producer on CBS's The Neighborhood, where he helps shape the show's creative direction. "I'm making sure the show has a voice, making sure the episodes aren't limiting and putting us in a box," he told The Hollywood Reporter in 2021. Cedric even executive produced his own stand-up special, Live from the Ville. For perspective, the Houston Chronicle reports that freelance film producers can earn around $52 an hour. But with Cedric's star power and experience, there's no doubt his pay is in a completely different league. If Marcus Lemonis is out there watching, he'd probably give Cedric an approving nod for taking control of his brand and building wealth behind the scenes. Cedric, the host. Let's break down exactly what makes Cedric the Entertainer such a powerhouse. First, the humor, no question there. Add in his smooth, likable personality and a natural gift of gab, and you've got the perfect recipe for a top-tier TV host. Producers clearly recognized these qualities because beyond his film and TV acting credits, Cedric has built an impressive resume as a host, landing multiple high-profile gigs over the years. One of his earliest big hosting jobs was co-hosting the first-ever BET Awards with Steve Harvey back in 2001. He kept that momentum going by hosting the Billboard Music Awards the following year. Since then, he's stayed busy in the spotlight, even taking on the huge role of hosting the Emmys in 2021. That particular show came with pandemic-era challenges, but Cedric was ready for them. "I'm still just going to have fun," he told CBS News before the event. Television got us through this last year. It's a thing that we trusted, so I think that's why we should honor this night. Clearly, Cedric knew early on that hosting was a smart way to expand his career and his income, right alongside acting and stand-up. He likes big houses and vintage vehicles. After juggling all his gigs, Cedric the Entertainer returns to a seriously impressive home in Chatsworth, California. His spacious 5-bedroom property spans nearly 9,727 square feet and features 7 bathrooms, plus a pool large enough to rival an Olympic training facility. Cedric reportedly bought this luxury pad back in 2004 for around $2.95 million. He also owns a sizable house in Florissant, Missouri, a property that could easily qualify as a mansion with a sprawling backyard and a massive pool perfect for relaxing or entertaining. Regarding his California home, Cedric has said its value took a hit after a long-running gas leak from Southern California Gas Co. According to Cedric, the leak made him and his family sick, leading him and his wife, Lorna Wells, to file a lawsuit in 2017 against the gas company and its parent company, Sempra. Cedric's taste for the finer things doesn't end with real estate. He has an enviable classic car collection, too. In a CBS This Morning interview, he proudly showed off a few of his favorites, including a 1960 Thunderbird he affectionately calls Lovey, and a beautifully customized 1941 Ford truck. "I love the lines of the 40s trucks," he shared, clearly a true enthusiast at heart. Cedric. The Entertainer is far from stingy. Cedric the Entertainer hasn't just held on to his acting and hosting fortune. He's made giving back a major priority. According to Look to the Stars, he's supported 11 different charities and foundations over the years, including the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. He's also partnered with the Salvation Army to talk about the power of generosity, especially during the holidays. "If ever you have the opportunity to give and be a part of it in any kind of way, it's a celebratory thing," he told them. Beyond those efforts, Cedric has also given back through his own Cedric the Entertainer Foundation, which awards annual academic scholarships to aspiring college students. The UNCF website highlights that these scholarships are designed to financially support high school seniors attending a public or private school in the St. Louis metro area. That mission might feel especially personal for Cedric, who was once a substitute high school teacher himself, and whose mother, Rosetta Kiles, was also a teacher. Cedric's generosity hasn't gone unnoticed. When he received a star on the St. Louis Walk of Fame in 2008, his charitable spirit was a major part of the celebration. The motto of his foundation, "Reaching Out, Giving Back," isn't just a slogan. Cedric has proven time and again that he lives by those words. The comic splurges on hats. Cedric the Entertainer could just as easily go by Cedric the Stylish, thanks to his sharp wardrobe and especially his signature hats. Whether it's a fedora, a trilby, or a boater, Cedric has made hats a trademark part of his look. According to his website, he actually started wearing hats as a kid to hide a rash on his head. Over time, they became so central to his style that keeping track of how many he owns is next to impossible. Back in 2014, he told Power 106 Los Angeles that he had an entire room dedicated to his hats and estimated he had easily over 200 at that point. His love of hats even turned into a business opportunity. In 2011, Cedric launched his own hat line, Who Said? As he told Variety in 2018, the inspiration came from his St. Louis roots. "There were a group of guys in high school who were the dressers. They had style, and they would wear these hats. Me and my friends wanted to be those guys, so that became a thing." He also shared why dressing sharp was important when he broke into comedy. "If you wanted to represent yourself as a stylish male, you wore nice clothes, and hats were a part of it," he explained. "Coming out of the Midwest, trying to make a name for myself, the hat became part of who I am and where I'm from." He didn't want a 9-to-5. Have something to fall back on. That's the advice dreamers hear time and again. the ones bold enough to go after their biggest ambitions while still keeping a safety net. Some people balance it all by working a 9 to 5 and chasing their dreams after hours. But others, like Cedric the entertainer, decide to take the leap and leave their day jobs behind altogether. For Cedric, that meant walking away from a steady gig as a claims adjuster at State Farm, where he was earning a solid paycheck. Ironically, the security of that job was what pushed him to quit. As he explained on Money-Making Conversations in 2020, "You're a young man. You're about to start getting trapped making $60,000, $70,000 a year. If I start making this money, I'll never go for my dreams." Before comedy took off, Cedric also worked selling electronics at Best Buy and even delivered newspapers for the Wall Street Journal at age 27. He admitted on the Kelly Clarkson show in 2019 that the paper route was actually the job he felt most embarrassed about. House tour to his $3 million California mansion and more. Now, let's jump into this house tour. Cedric the entertainer's very first family home, built in 1990, was a spacious multi-level property spanning more than 6,400 square feet. It featured 6 bedrooms and 7.5 bathrooms. Plenty of room for Cedric, his wife Lorna, and their kids to grow. The living room had vaulted ceilings and a built-in fireplace that really stood out against the room's neutral color palette. Just steps away was a cozy family room with its own wet bar. Perfect for Cedric to kick back and relax after a long day. The kitchen wasn't massive, but it was practical, with a center island big enough for the whole family to gather around. Right next to it sat a beautiful dining room, framed by elegant French doors that opened to the backyard. Upstairs, the master suite had another fireplace and a luxurious ensuite bathroom with travertine-tiled floors and a tub dramatically set atop its own set of steps. A true showstopper. Downstairs, there was a huge rec room on the lower level, mostly open except for an impressively large billiards table. Outside, the property stretched across about an acre, with a lagoon-style swimming pool complete with a spa and a waterfall feature. There were manicured lawns, patios for lounging, and a dedicated play area, all wrapped in hedges and gates for privacy. In 2010, Cedric sold the house to David Hodges, a songwriter, producer, and member of the band Evanescence, for around $245 million. Hodges later added a 2-room recording studio to the property before reselling it for about $3.19 million a few years down the line. Next up is Cedric's main residence, located in the suburban neighborhood of Chatsworth, California. Nestled in Los Angeles' San Fernando Valley, Chatsworth is known for its low population density, high income levels, and proximity to plenty of top-rated public and private schools, making it an ideal place for a successful family to settle. Cedric bought the property back in 2004 for about $295 million, and he's called it home ever since. The house itself is impressive, with 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, and around 9,700 square feet of living space. But it's really the outdoor space that steals the show. There's enough room to park at least 6 cars, plus a full-size tennis court, a sprawling swimming pool, and a relaxing spa, all surrounded by lush landscaping. Unfortunately, Cedric and his family haven't been able to enjoy their beautiful yard as much as they'd like. In 2016, a blowout at the Aliso Canyon oil field released over 100,000 metric tons of methane into the neighborhood. Thousands of residents have since reported health issues like headaches, nausea, and breathing problems, forcing more than 8,000 households to relocate. Cedric himself filed a lawsuit against the gas company in 2017, detailing how his family suffered from nosebleeds, vertigo, rashes, and other ailments. It's a tragic situation, especially considering how stunning the property is, and thanks to disclosure laws, selling the home would be tough anytime soon. Cedric also owns a second residence back in his home state of Missouri, a more modest mansion where he and his family stay occasionally. The home is set on spacious grounds with a long driveway, a fenced-in lagoon-style pool, and a large jacuzzi close by. Inside, there's a massive 2-story living room overlooked by a balcony, plus a modern kitchen with a marble island, stainless steel appliances, and wood cabinetry. The dining area is flooded with natural light thanks to giant floor-to-ceiling windows. Upstairs, there are 4 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, a cozy den for movie nights, and a bright home office with hardwood floors. All in all, it's a pretty modest setup for a star of Cedric's caliber, but there's no doubt he treasures this place for its ties to Missouri. And the coolest part? It's just around the corner from Cedric the Entertainer Way, a street named in his honor, right at the intersection of Olive Street and Vandeventer Avenue in St. Louis. Inside Cedric, the Entertainer's classic car collection. Cedric the Entertainer isn't just a comedy icon. He's a certified car enthusiast with a love for classic rides. One of Cedric's prized possessions is a stunning 1960 Ford Thunderbird, affectionately nicknamed Lovey. This eye-catching beauty, with its elegant lines and powerful V8 engine, can fetch upwards of $40,000 depending on condition and restoration. Cedric has shown off this piece of automotive history during interviews, and it's clear he's proud of it. Then there's his custom 1941 Ford pickup, which he proudly displayed during a segment on CBS this morning. Vintage 1940s Ford trucks typically sell for around $35,000 to $60,000, but Cedric's custom touches could easily boost that value even higher. He's said he loves the lines of the 40 trucks, which perfectly capture his appreciation for craftsmanship. His garage also includes a 1996 Impala SS, a performance sedan cherished by collectors, with current market values in the $30,000 range. The Impala reflects his connection to American automotive culture and his desire to keep some modern muscle among the classics. Although he hasn't gone public with every single vehicle in his garage, Cedric's taste leans toward bold, stylish classics with a heavy dose of personality, much like the man himself. Cedric the Entertainer's wife, all about Lorna Wells and their long marriage. Cedric the Entertainer is known for his infectious smile, and it's easy to see why. He's been happily married to his wife, Lorna Wells, for nearly 25 years. The beloved actor, comedian, and TV host is deeply devoted to Lorna, and she's been a constant support throughout his remarkable career. Cedric, whose real name is Cedric Antonio Kiles, has had countless opportunities over the years, including hosting the 25th anniversary of the Super Bowl soulful celebration alongside his The Neighborhood co-star Tichina Arnold. That special is set to air on February 10th, the day before Super Bowl LV, on CBS and Paramount+. Cedric is blessed both professionally and personally, with a thriving career and a loving family. So who is the woman behind Cedric the Entertainer? Lorna Wells, Cedric's wife, prefers a life away from the spotlight, unlike her famous husband. Still, she occasionally steps out to support him at major events, such as the 2021 Primetime Emmy Awards, which Cedric hosted, or his Hollywood Walk of Fame star ceremony in 2018. Cedric and Lorna first met back in the 1990s while he was hosting the BET show Comic View. Their relationship began in 1995, and they tied the knot on September 3, 1999. Together, they share 2 children, son Croix, born in 2000, and daughter Lucky Rose, born in 2003. Cedric also has an older daughter, Tiara, from a previous relationship, whom Lorna officially adopted after marrying Cedric. In a 2020 interview with Man Enough, Cedric opened up about fatherhood, saying, "I take great pride in my kids being my kids because I'm their dad. Sometimes you project an image of yourself, but when things slow down, you can see you let someone else do a lot of the work. You have no excuses when you don't have to be anywhere." Cedric even featured his children on his 2023 holiday album, Soul of Christmas, and shared a funny moment with BET about working with them. "You know, they bad," he joked. "My son did one little ooh, woo, woo in the background, and now he's talking about ain't nobody coming to see you. They coming for me. He thinks he's the lead singer now. He can't be Junior up there. It was just great. My daughter has a really sweet voice. My son was having a good time singing on it and did some backgrounds, and he's got that funny bone." He's silly like me. Cedric has spoken with great admiration about Lorna over the years. In a BET interview, he reflected on their upcoming 25th anniversary in September 2024, saying, "We're coming up on the 25th, and it's some kind of milestone when you do 25 years. My wife is not a social media kind of person. She is a real OG from LA. So, her love is sincere, direct, and purposeful, and she makes sure that I return that. I've learned to love that about us. The rest of Hollywood has nothing to do with us being a famous couple. It's about us being a couple to each other. That's what we wake up and do. That's really been a blessing, the way that we approach it and stay off the grid. So a lot of respect, a lot of love, a lot of laughter, and a lot of taking the time to be the object of each other's affection." He also revealed on The Jennifer Hudson Show in October 2023 that Lorna prefers celebrating anniversaries over birthdays. "We'll celebrate the anniversaries. Birthday's not necessarily a big deal. Everything for her is a celebration. For me, less." What do you think is the most inspiring part of Cedric's story? His career, his family life, or how he gives back to his community? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into your beloved stars. Thanks for watching.